Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the Sightly Sling model as well as component development. Okay, so here we are going to discuss about the complete flow, how generally when we are adding the component, how generally the flow is working, how we are getting the rendered content on the page. Okay, so let's jump to the discussion. Okay, so first one, I already started my AIM server. So here we can see the login page. So let me sign in first here. So we are getting start console here. Okay. So first of all, let me go to the sites. Okay. So in previous lecture, we have already created the project. Okay. Which is a custom EM project. And I have created here one page, which is home page. Okay. So let me open this one first. So within homepage, I'm going to add one component. Okay, so I have created already one component. So I'm going to show the flow, and after this, I'm going to create new component from the scratch. Okay, so this the first part only we are going to discuss how the generally the flow is working. Okay, so let me start. Let me add one component here. Okay, so I have created one course title component. So let me add that. Okay, so I'm going to add the course title here. Okay, and let me refresh the page once. The component I have added here, okay. If I go here, as I mentioned previously, also here we'll able to see the component as well, okay. Whatever component we have added within this page, all the component we'll able to add it here. The first one we have course title, so I'll open this one, okay. Here I'm going to add, suppose that AEM experience management content management solution, whatever we have, or let me add Adobe Experience Manager only once here, and let me click on done. Okay, so as you can see, if I'm adding here, I'm getting whatever title I'm adding there, course title I'm adding there, I'm getting the content here. Okay, if I refresh the page itself, so the content itself, it will persist, I mean to say here. Okay, it will not loss. So when we are refreshing the page here, right, so whatever content we are adding, okay, so it is somehow storing somewhere. As I mentioned, the JCR as well as the database, right here, JCR is working as a database. So generally these kind of content or whatever we are adding, any kind of component, if we add within the page, those information generally we are adding in content pages. Okay, so let me go through and show you some practical diagram, and after that we'll show you further things. Okay, let me jump there. So everyone, as you can see in the diagram, so okay, so this is the AEM dialog for us. Okay, so suppose that whatever, it can be anything. Okay, whatever dialog we have, it can be anything AEM dialog. Whatever we authored some course title, I have added here one of the different example here. Okay, suppose that whatever we are adding, generally we are storing those information here in the database. Okay, as I added AEM Adobe Experience Manager, one text I have added, one course title I have added. So those information generally we are adding in database, and for AEM, the database known as a JCR. Okay, so generally in JCR we are storing all the data. So right now I'm going to show you this particular part first, and after that we'll jump to uh, this part. I mean to say, when we are authoring the text or any kind of data, generally we are storing in database, which is JCR, and after that from the backend only we are directly fetching the data from the JCR, and after that we are displaying to the browser. Okay, whether it is a Chrome or any browser, generally we are displaying that. Okay, so let me jump there. Like first, we'll discuss this particular part, how when we are authoring the dialog and when we are adding the value in the dialog, how these values are storing in JCR. Okay, so let me jump there. So everyone, this is the page where I have added. So in the dialog I was mentioning, so suppose that here we are adding some value. It can be anything, okay? It can be any kind of title, course title, we can add it here. So suppose that for now I'm adding Adobe Experience Manager. When I'm clicking on the done, we are getting the same data in the page, okay? But in the diagram, as I mentioned there, so suppose that when I'm adding this one, I just storing in the JCR or database, right? So let me go through, let me show you where this particular value, whatever we have added in the dialog, where it is present first, okay? So everyone, first we need to understand where we are generally storing this one, okay? So let me go through this particular path first, okay? So home page path. So I'll open CRXT. So let me check if I already open. So So this is the general section, and within that we have CRXT. Okay, if I'll jump here, so within this we have already CRXT and other things. So let me copy this path first. So as you can see, this page we are able to get it here. So let me expand this one first. So within home page, if I go to the JCR contain root container, and then here we'll able to get the title. Okay, and after that we do have a course title. Okay, this particular part. So this is our component. Okay, so generally here what we are doing is that we are whatever record we are saving. Okay, like I have added AEM experience manager, so as you can see the same data we are getting it here. Okay, so whatever we are storing, I mean to say here. Okay, so the same record I'm getting it here. Okay, AEM Adobe experience manager. Okay, and the next thing is that how generally this course title here we are storing, and suppose that where we are writing the rendering logic, okay, to display this. Suppose that if I'm storing this one, I'm just adding the dialog, this particular feed, if I'm saying how generally this data is rendering, I just wanted to show you that. Okay, so let me jump there. Okay, so within this node, within this resource node, basically here we do have resource type. Okay, so if I go here, like let me open this one maybe. Okay, and let me search this one. Okay, this particular path. So this can be part of apps. Okay, so let me open this component first. So as you can see here, we do have course title. As I mentioned, already created one component. Okay, so within that, whatever rendering logic we have written, we'll able to get this one. Okay, it generally this part. So you can see as in S3, I'm just displaying item value dot course title, right? So this particular part generally I'm storing, and after that, whatever we are getting it here, right? This particular part we are getting from here itself. Okay, this particular part we are getting from here itself. So this is the flow. Okay, this is the generally flow when we are authoring any value, it is directly going to the particular node here. Okay, and it will check the resource type first, whatever resource type we have. Like this is the resource type, right? Component, custom EM project component course title. So this is our custom component name. Okay, so we'll go here, and after that we'll check the .html. Directly it will render, and whatever text we have written, it will directly fetch, and it will directly fetch from the dialog, and it will be basically we are adding in S3. It will add in S3 tag. Okay, and before that, everyone, we are calling this particular parts. Okay, so we are calling the backend logic. Okay, so let me jump to the diagram and let me show you this one. Okay. So Jai, as I already explained this particular part, okay, AEM dialog. So suppose that here we are adding some value, and after that, this kind of value, this particular value we are storing in JCR content. I mean to say content node, we are storing this one. So whatever value I'll add, I'll store this one. It will directly go to the particular node, and after that, it will check the resource type. It will go to that resource type, and particular HTML script will trigger, and whatever logic we have written, it will directly will able to get render the logic. Okay. The next part is that how generally the second part is this particular part. Okay, so whatever data we have in JCR is stored. Okay, so how generally we need to fetch this data, and we just need to display in the page itself. We just need to render on the page, correct? So generally we are writing some business logic. Generally we are, if we are using model classes and any other things, we'll discuss that part also. So what we'll do, we'll directly fetch those record, fetch those value, whatever we have in database. And after that, what we'll do is that we'll directly return to the front end logic, and it will whatever logic we have written in front end, and after that we'll able to get in the browser. So generally in presentation logic, we are writing some STL kind of thing. Okay, slightly STL part, and after that here generally we are writing some model classes. Okay, to fetch the record from the database. Okay, so let me jump to there. The second part I'm going to explain this particular class, and after that I will cover whole flow once again. Okay, so let me jump there first. So everyone, as I mentioned there, so we are using backend class or model class to fetch the data whatever we have in the JCR or database. Okay, so as you can see, this particular logic we are generally using to render the things on the page. Okay, so within the first line itself, I'm using one of the class. I'm using one of the class which is course title model. Okay, I'm calling this one, and whatever data we are getting, I'm just displaying in S3. So generally, this S3 tag generally we are displaying in the page. Okay, whatever we are adding in the AEM dialog, generally in this way we are fetching. But how generally the processing is working, how the value we are fetching from the database, I mean to say JCR, this particular part how we are fetching. Okay, this particular part how we are fetching, and after that how we are displaying it here. That particular part we just need to understand first. Okay, before understanding that, okay, so I just wanted to go through one thing. So if you analyze this one, okay, so within the course title, we do have couple of properties. So this is called properties of this particular node. Okay. So this is the name and this is the value for us. So as you can see, this particular value generally we are getting in the page, right? So maybe we have some doubt why, from where we are getting this data, correct? The name can be anything or it should be course title only. Okay. So let me explain this one first to you. Okay, so if I go to CQ dialog, okay, whatever dialog we are getting, I mean to say, if I jump to here, if I open this one, this is the dialog for us. Okay, so this is the value, right? Generally, dialog value we are creating it here. Okay, this is the dialog value. Whatever field you will able to get, generally we are creating it here. Even though I'm going to explain from the scratch, I'm going to create one new component itself, and after that I'll explain one by one each and every node. Okay, so you will able to get better idea there. First, you just need to understand within the dialog I have created only one field which is title, and this particular title we are getting it here itself, right? If I go here, this particular title we are getting it here, and it is kind of text field, right? So as you can see, I have also written here that the type of this node is should be text field only. Okay. Okay. So whatever name we have added here, right? This particular name, course title. Okay. This particular name. Generally, this name we are adding it here. This name generally we are adding. Whatever name we have here, the same name will store it here. Okay. In this way, generally we are identifying and we are just storing the data in the JCR basically. Okay. Okay, and let me jump to the backend part, how generally we are fetching the data from the JCR and displaying the data in S3 tag, okay, based on the S3 tag, I mean to say. So I'll directly jump to course title. So generally, if we are on this particular course title model, so let me go there first. So this is the course title model, everyone, okay, and this is the STL, whatever HTML templating language only we are calling. So here we are passing whole data. We are using data sly use. If you wanted to call any backend class or any template, any other thing, generally we are using this particular STL attribute. Okay. And this is the reference variable. Okay. So whatever this class is returning, generally we are getting the return value here itself. Okay. So as you can see here, generally we need to add in EM, we generally need to add the whole path. So this is the package path till model. Okay, if I'm going it here, so generally if you see here, this is the package path. Generally within this package, this model class is present. If I go through the top, as you can see, this is the model folder for us, and within the model folder I have created course title model. So till now the package name is models. Okay, and after that the class name for us is the course title model. So we have added the same name here. The full name we need to add it here. Okay, and let me jump it here first. Okay, so generally we need to create the normal class here, and after that we are just here we are using at the rate model annotation. Okay, so to declare this particular class as a model, generally we need to use as a model. Okay, okay, here, and after that the second argument we are using adaptables equal to resource dot class. Okay, so we are adapting this particular class as a resource, means whatever records we are getting it here, everyone, whatever nodes we are getting it here, it is somehow is a resource only, right? This particular part, this generally this resource we are going to fetch whatever value we have here, generally we are going to fetch this particular part. Okay, so we just need to adapt this model class, or this model class should behave as a resource so that we can able to add whatever node we wanted to fetch, I mean to say. Okay, so that's why we are adapting this particular we as a resource we are adapting this one. So basically in Java, basically we are adapting so many things. Suppose that if you wanted to fit one object to different object, okay, so in this case we are generally using adaptables. Okay, here, so we are adapting this one as a resource so that we can able to get couple, we can able to add couple of things related to resource only. Okay, I'll tell you that particular part later. Okay, so this is default injection strategy basically. So what kind of injection strategy we are adding? Basically, whatever value or field we are adding it here, it should be optional by default. If I'll not add this one, suppose that if I'll remove this particular part, all the field whatever I'm going to add here, every field will be mandatory here. Okay, so that's why by default I'm adding here optional. So by default all the fields are optional. If you wanted to add any field mandatory, so we have required annotation, we'll add that. Okay, so let me explain that later. Okay, so this is the class for us, and here suppose that this is the, as I mentioned, we are adapting as a resource. So this is the one resource, right? Course title basically. If I go here, so if I go here once again, so this within this we do have property course title. I just wanted to inject this property hit here. As you can see, I'm using inject. It means that this particular property I'm going to inject. Okay, and within the resource, if we are adapting as a resource, whatever fields we have, right, we'll get all the access related to that. This is basically a value map generally we are calling, which is based on key and value and property. Generally, whatever property we have comes under value map. Okay, so here we do have key value kind of concept. Okay, so that's why I adapted as a resource so that we can get the access all the things. So I'm just injecting this particular part right now, which is course title. Okay, injecting means we are just wanted to inject this value, and after that injection strategy basically I'm following it here, and after that I'm just injecting course title. Okay, and after that, I'm just providing getter method here to return this value from the model. Generally, this is private variable, right? So private variable we can access within the class itself. If you know, okay, we can't access out of the class. So generally, I'm calling this particular class from the outside. Okay, so we can't access directly the variables, okay, private variables, whatever we have. So that's why I have written this particular public's method. Okay, generally if you wanted to access the value, generally we are writing the public method, and after that based on that generally we are accessing. Okay, so ideal way if we are accessing this one, it should be this way, correct? If I instead of course title, we should be having this way. Okay, course title. So this is the exact way generally we need to fetch the value, I mean to say. Okay, because we can't fetch via directly this one. Okay, but in AEM specifically, everyone, if you are using this kind of thing, so we should not be adding, we should not add this particular part get and method. Okay, this method, and the first letter should be small itself. Okay, this is the way generally we are fetching the data, I mean to say. Okay, so whatever methods we have, generally we just need to use the same method, but we just need to remove this one. And the first letter should be small. And after that, we just need to remove this one. Okay. So that's why I'm using course title, the same thing. Okay. So this is the generally way we are getting this particular value from the model. Okay. We are fetching this value from the model. And after that, we are returning the value, particular value will get in the item value, I mean to say. Okay, whatever we are calling, so we'll get only this method get this particular method whatever we are calling, so we'll get that only. If I go here, so this particular block of code will able to get, right, because we are returning this particular. So how we'll fetch item value, because here we'll get the, this is the reference, here we'll get the particular part whatever we are returning from the model class, and after that how to fetch this value, this is the way to fetch this value. Okay, so generally I talk about the same thing, and this particular part we are rendering on the page itself. Okay, so this is the generally the flow is working in AEM. Okay, So how let me explain once again how this generally the flow is working. So first we'll able to get this particular when we are adding any value from the dialog. Okay, this any value from the dialog. Suppose that let me add any AEM only if I'm adding here. Let's assume for now AEM already adding, so I'll get the AEM generally here. Okay, as you can see. So generally if I'll refresh this one, right? We'll get the AEM itself. Okay, this particular part, the course, but generally we are storing it here. And after that, it will directly go to the course title. It will go here and it will go to the HTML. It will call the model class. And after that, here we'll get the reference. And after that, we'll able to get the course title here. So generally this particular part we are displaying in the front end side. Okay. I hope you like this lecture and I hope you understood the flow. Let me know if you have any doubt in the comment section, and thank you for watching this video.